This is the Conrad Alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
Oh, for 5 years. 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram, Rumble, and Odyssey. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim. This is Mrs. Toolman. How are you?
Good.
And today is March the 3rd, 2023. And this is episode 266 of the Workshop Podcast. So those of you out there in recording land, how the hell is everyone? What have you been up to this week, Mrs. Cook?
Just work.
Caught you off guard, didn't I?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I don't know how to answer that. Oh my God, I'm so asleep. I don't know what to do. It's been
know what I've been up to.
It's been a long week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
I know what you've been up to, but everyone else out in internet land doesn't know what you've been up to. How's the daycare going?
Good.
Keeping you busy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's good. And today I spent the day beating my hands up and tearing out a floor in the at the new rental we bought, and it's an absolute mess over there, but that's good. So, all right. So tonight we are going to deal with Last of Us Episode 7, otherwise known as Left Behind. What were your overall thoughts of the show before we dive in?
I didn't really like this episode.
It was definitely the lowest. I would say if I had to rate all the episodes, it was definitely not my favorite. How about you?
No, it felt like one of those, just like a filler.
It really,
episode,
and you hate to say filler because when it comes down to it, every episode tells a story and they have to build the characters, but
this felt like a filler.
It really did, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna talk about it. Here's my other thought. I don't know if did I mention this to you or not, but when it comes down to it, I don't know how the hell they're going to wrap up the story in 2 episodes.
Because they're not.
I don't think so.
No, I think they've already let out the cat out of the bag that it's not getting wrapped up.
So you think they're going to go season 2 from...
I think so. Yeah, like as in wrapped up as in like where Joel gets killed?
Or at least to the end of the events from the first game.
I don't think so. I think they're pushing it.
I think so too. Yeah. I hope so. I can live with that. You?
Yeah. Well, because they've kind of already let it out because Pedro's still filming.
That's true.
So,
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't think that they're not going to wrap it up in 2 episodes.
No, I don't. I think you're right. I hope not. You know what? I'd be totally cool with a whole nother season of Pedro Pascal. He's a beautiful human being and a great actor too. So yeah. I know there's somebody else in our family that agrees with us. So I always get a teaser. So the show opens up with Joel in pretty rough shape, telling Ellie to just leave him alone. And she's kind of there thinking, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I thought, and they go to a flashback, and then it turns out that the entire friggin' episode is a flashback.
And I don't think they had to do that.
Okay, so I kind of agree, because, all right, let's slide back a little bit. The big thing was IMDb. They said, oh, guess what? They've been review bombed. Everybody bombed the show and made the rating low. And so they had to put on a modified rating because the episode got kind of a shitty review.
Okay.
Now, they're blaming it because it was an LGBTQ episode, but no,
that had nothing to do with it.
No, not. And if you read the reviews on IMDb, I went through and read, there was about 10% that give it a 1 star out of 10.
I hate it when they do that.
I know.
Like, just because it has like diversity in it or something that is not the norm, that is not the reason why the show sucked. Like, the reason why the show sucked is because they were letting Ellie run it.
Right.
And it's the exact same thing I've said the whole time. She cannot carry the show because the poor thing can't act. And it has nothing to do with her being a lesbian. It has nothing to do with the other girl being a lesbian. It has the fact to do is that her acting sucks. And it was a whole show based around kids, which I don't like anyway. And it was annoying.
It was a fairly boring episode, to be honest. Like, I just didn't get into it. I was not, I don't know. I couldn't enjoy it.
It was kind of like when we were watching, I was like, is this over yet?
I took it in my notes and I said, this is the very first episode that I was on my phone more than I was watching the show.
Yep.
And that's sad because I love the show, but this was not such a good, it just didn't do it, And
that's why I said, like, the girl who plays Ellie, she can't carry the show.
No, and I think you think they're worried about that?
And I think, this will show that she can't carry it.
Right.
Because, like, this whole episode, she was the main character, and it's the lowest rated one, so, like, you think that would click them in, like, okay, yeah, well, she kind of sucks, and she can't carry it.
She really can't.
Yeah.
Well, from there, we get another flash. Well, they flash to Ellie, and she's running with a Walkman. I forget what the song is, but she is training to be, I want to say Hydra, but it's not Hydra. It's Fedra. That's it. Yeah.
Close enough.
And she said, and the bully comes along and pulls the headset off her head or whatever, and they get in a big fight, and she ends up getting called into the captain's office, right? So the captain was kind of cool. Apparently there's a little Easter egg in there that if you pay attention, his keychain is the Naughty Dog video game symbol. Mm-hmm. So I thought, hey, Civil Defense Canada, good to have you. They're out from Ontario. So always nice to have fellow Canadians in there. So he gives her two choices. He's like, basically, you got one of two options. Number one, you're smart enough, you can be an officer. You can live the good life. You can, some animals are more equal than others. Do you remember Animal Farm? Mm-hmm. Or the other one is you can be on literal shit duty and be stuck being a grunt for the rest of your life. And that's not much of a life to live, either way, right?
Well, and I don't understand, like, they keep on, how do you say it? Like, they keep on giving the facts that Ellie's so intelligent.
Right.
I have yet to see any intelligence come out of that child. Like, everywhere they go, she's loud, she's obnoxious.
Lippy.
She's lippy.
Rude.
But I haven't heard any actual intelligence out of her. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, they're always like, oh, well, you're so smart. But I don't think she is.
Not really.
Like, the only thing that she's got going for her is that she's immune.
Right.
Like, other than that, like,
she's just not, I don't know. She just doesn't, I know exactly what you mean. I don't know how else to put it into words, but so later on that night, she's in bed, and probably the dumbest thing in the entire episode where her friend sneaks in and puts her hand over her mouth. Do you remember? Like, I'm like, that's a good way to get yourself shot or have your throat slit or something in your sleep, Yeah. So there she shows up, and we finally get to see the flashback. Now, I will say that the writing was good because everything that happens in this episode was set up earlier on, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about the different things that happen as we go along. But she says, hey, I want to take you out for time of your life or the night of your life or something along those lines. And
show you something.
Show you something. And she takes her out. What's the first thing they find is a dead body, remember? Mm-hmm. Which was kind of cool because didn't he fall over, give you a little jump scare or something like that?
He fell through the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah. But they did find what looked like a really good bottle of bourbon just sitting there, which was kind of interesting. So
and they implied that he had committed suicide too.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because he took a bunch of pills, didn't he? Yeah.
Because they said because they made a comment about the bottle being original and that he would have used up all his tickets to get it. And then they said that if
I had never thought about so he used every drop of money.
She said, I don't think they were too worried about the tickets because he was, that was his way out, right?
That makes sense.
He was enjoying his life before he went.
Chris Dixon says, "Evening tool people, good to have you." So they found the bottle of booze. So there, that was the first kind of call back to the earlier episodes because when they were sitting around the campfire, Joel gave Ellie a little drink. And she's like, yeah, I've tried this before. And she had, actually. So,
well, I think Joel's was probably more like moonshine, right?
Oh, yeah. Joel's was, I can't even imagine. It probably tastes like fucking
battery acid.
Or, what do you call it? Rubbing alcohol, something like that, But so, again, I don't want to pick on this episode, but it had its moments that, like I said, when they were jumping from roof to roof, it felt like... It felt like it was filmed on a soundstage. It's the first time. Okay. I know I've been looking at you a lot tonight, but it was the first time, every time I watched the show, it has always felt like you were in the post-apocalyptic world, right?
Yeah.
When they were on the rooftops, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, it looked like it was filmed on a Hollywood set. It's the first time it didn't look real. And I don't know, it took me out. And maybe I was just being picky, but I wanted this episode to be good. This episode is not from either video game. It's from the downloadable, the DLC, downloadable content or whatever. So it's like a prequel where you learn.
So it's not important enough to be in the game.
It's not. It was downloadable afterwards.
Well, you think that would have been a hint? Why don't we just make a whole episode about it?
And I'm going to talk later on about some of the different people's reviews on it because I think it's important. But yeah, so when they're jumping rooftop to rooftop, it's the first time that I was taken out of my, willing suspension of disbelief. And I'm like, you know what? This looks like CGI with, backdrops, right?
Well, and then I made the comment I had mentioned to you that, like, basically those kids were born
right
there and they've been training with Fedra. They're basically their entire lives. So why is it every time Ellie does something, she acts like she's winded?
That is true. I wondered about that.
Like you're listening to her pant like a dog half the episode, and you're just like, this is really annoying. Like you literally run laps and train to be part of Fedra.
But she looks wore out all the time, which is strange because you're right. She has spent her whole, middle school, whatever, junior high life.
But everything she does, she sounds like she's panting and short of breath and everything. Like, I don't know if it's just like an over-dramatic teenage thing.
Chris Dixon says because she half-asses everything.
Right.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I can see that, So her friend, girlfriend, whatever, Riley shows up and tells her that she's been recruited for the Fireflies and that she's going away soon because they're going to move her to Atlanta, or at least that. Well, they talk about that a little bit more. But here's the next odd thing: somehow she has found herself an abandoned mall, which I'm sure everybody knew about, but miraculously the power's still on or been returned on, which it made for a really cool scene. It would have been really neat in a movie. It looked good. It's an Alberta mall that has either been torn down or is scheduled for demolition near Calgary. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Ellie gets her, hey there, Aaron. There's she, evening cooks and everyone. She says, "Good to have you, Aaron." So Ellie gets to experience what she calls electric stairs, which I thought that was kind of cute because that would be pretty exciting for a kid who's never seen something like that before. So they go in, they sneak into the mall. Power's on. Now I will say the mall looked really good.
Yeah, it did.
They did a great job building the mall. Talk about that a little more, but the set design people did a great thing there. So Ellie experiences escalators and then a carousel, which is, I guess, kind of cliche, but so they ride a carousel. They, there's kind of soft versions of different 80s music playing in the background at different times, which has become kind of the norm for this show, and that's fine. And then they have this kind of heated conversation where Riley talks about how she became a Firefly and how it's important. She wants to, fight the man and tear everything down. And Ellie says, well, maybe, working for Fedra wouldn't be that bad, right? See, they try. Okay. I think my biggest problem with this episode is it felt like it tried too hard, right? So you go back to Bill, right? That was the episode 3. It didn't need to try. It was just a fucking incredible episode that was great because you had 2 incredible actors who had a great script and they had room to let it breathe, But this one, it just felt like everything was like, hey, isn't this sad? Hey, isn't this cute? Hey, isn't this sweet? You know what I mean? Like right from, okay, let's drink booze on the rooftop to let's sit on a carousel. It all felt so ham-fisted, Like it felt like it was forced India. And then, if it wasn't enough over the top, Riley tells Ellie that her assignment was literally shoveling shit,
But it wasn't, though. She was just overseeing people shoveling shit.
Right. It's true. Right. And she was still going to be Fedra.
An officer, yeah. And that's just where she was posted. Not everything is, rainbows and lollipops. Right.
And then a photo booth, which we do love our photo booths, not a big deal, but I thought that was...
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Again, like I said, and okay, this is probably what two teenage girls would do if they could run roughshod over an entire mall. I get it. They take the picture. At least the pictures didn't turn out very good, because if they'd have been perfect, I'd been like, son of a bitch, that shouldn't have worked. That's been 20 years. But I thought that was a cool touch where the photos were overexposed. You know, it was like the film was old or whatever. And we did find an actual photo booth that was a film-based photo booth, remember, at the West Edmonton Mall? There was still one there. So then they head to the arcade for Mortal Kombat 2. I have very fond memories of Mortal Kombat 2, where I went to high school and junior high. Across the way, we had this kind of kitchen counter thing that was called Vicky's. It's like a convenience store where we used to pay older people to buy cigarettes for us. So that was kind of fun. But we used to go over there and hang out, and they always had a Mortal Kombat arcade machine. So they chewed a lot of quarters there for us. But I remember the day that they got Mortal Kombat 2. That was a big friggin' deal. And so it was kind of neat to see that in the video game, in the show about a video game. And then they cut away, of course, and what do we see? But the infected starting to stir.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we have a did you and I talk about that? Because why didn't this one, as soon as Ellie's big mouth gets into the mall, why didn't it stir and get up right away? Because any other time when they hear you, they're like, you know, think about back to episode 1 or 2 when they're in the hotel, right? Or and they're literally holding, you know, their hands over their mouths so that they can't. How do you want?
Well, they wouldn't have been able to play Mortal Kombat though if you woke right up.
I know, I get it, you know, but and again, and
this girl, she set this whole mall thing up for Ellie. Why didn't she notice this thing there before?
I'm surprised she didn't go, because it sounded like she'd spent quite a bit of time in there. I thought, but so the infected starts to stir. Like I said, I can't really figure out why it took it so damn long to get there, but you know, literary license, I'll give them that. They go hang out at a taco joint, and this is where Riley gives Ellie the pun book. And again, all these things have been set up earlier on, and that's where I'll say that the writing of this is so good, because they set up all these little breadcrumbs all the way along the show, and then every one of them pay off in this episode. Almost too conveniently, but I'll give it whatever. It was, and then Ellie finds the pipe bombs, remember? Yeah, and she all of a sudden has righteous indignation and storms off, because, I mean, I don't know. Either this episode tried to do too much or it tried to not do enough. I can't quite figure out which one it is. So she's hollering and carrying on, and she gets pissed off and takes off, and then she turns around and comes back. Like teenage lovers will do, you know? Yeah. And Riley says, well, I need to move away to Atlanta. I'm going. I don't even know how that works in this world. I'm not sure how the Fireflies do that, but they do that. Ellie asks Riley to stay. Riley says yes. They kiss. And then all hell breaks loose, right? Yeah. And this all happens in a Spirit of Halloween too, which was kind of cool. I like that. Which makes sense. I love all these little touches, because again, the collapse happened on Joel's birthday, which was in September, which means Spirit of Halloween would have been full tilt or whichever. Did they have Spirit of Halloween in 2002? I don't know what it would have been, but
I'm not sure.
But I slide back a little, because I love the mall. They did a great job building the mall. The stores, you know, there was what was there, a Panda Express, or
and a Victoria's, or was it Victoria's Secret or La Senza?
I think it was Victoria's Secret, I believe. Yeah. But I'm going to talk at length about the arcade, because the arcade was pretty cool. They did a great job on the arcade. So Ellie stabs the infected in the head. Mm-hmm. And then we find out, of course, which we know, Ellie's bit, and Riley is also bit. And this is kind of like, hey, doesn't this remind you of Romeo and Juliet, except it's two girls? You know, it's like, okay, I get it. Cool. Again, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want this to be shit on this episode, but it really was the lowest of the episodes so far. Because again, it was very, and
it was predictable.
It was predictable.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, hey, doesn't this remind you of this? Or, hey, this should make you feel like this. But the problem is, when they're so hard with that, it doesn't always work, does it?
Yeah.
That's what I find. That's where I was at with it. So they sit there and they're like, well, what do we do now? What do we do now? And Ellie. Oh, what do we got? Oh, geez. Thank you. Chris Dixon says Spirit of Halloween has been around since 1983. Did you know that?
No. Well, they're in the States,
okay.
So they probably have been around in the States before they came up to Canada.
That's true.
So.
I had no idea. I guess because like you said, we haven't. I don't remember it being around as long. But I'm going to see if I can get that link to come up here. Aaron, where did it show up? Whoops. Oh, that's the book club. See what?
Yeah, all those comments came through at once. Maybe we must have had a glitch in the internet or something.
Oh yeah, I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so Chris says Riley's Firefly programming shows what the fascist dickbag comments. Absolutely, yeah. There was a lot of that. And again, I know they only have 9 episodes to make it work, but it's very much all or nothing. Riley is the rebel, and Ellie is the government person, right? Mm-hmm. So let's see if we can bring this up here, Aaron. She said it was a post of The Last of Us biggest Easter egg is its smallest shot. Let's see what we can come up. Dawn of the Wolf Part 2. That was the episode, or now I might be wrong, Aaron, but was that the movie that Joel and his daughter were watching the night of the show? I'm not sure. Or the night of the outbreak. Can't remember for sure. We'll see if we can find it. I'll scroll through afterwards. But and Aaron's like, I was going to watch it again, and then I was like, nah.
No, I didn't want to watch it again either.
That's what it came down to. I didn't rewatch it for this episode either. I usually watch it twice, but it just, and again, like, we live in this. I mean, I'm just going to say it. We live in this world where they almost make you feel bad because you're like, it was a shit episode. Well, it was a shit episode not because of the theme in it, but just because it was a shit episode. It was boring. Mm-hmm. It was slow. It was a dumb teen story, right? So, and something to do with Joel. We'll have to read that out. We'll bring it up here once we get through this last little bit. That was as far as they go. They decide to sit there and wait till morning until they're both either dead or infected or whatever. And they cut back to Joel. Ellie's scrambling around the house. She finds a needle, some thread. She stitches up Joel, which looked incredibly painful, I thought. Mm-hmm.
But again, if she's so smart, she didn't try to find, like, Joel had a flask with alcohol. Why didn't she dump any of the alcohol on it to try to clean it?
Good point.
Nothing, right? Like, but again, that's why they claim that she's so smart, but she's not.
No, that's true. Let's see if we can bring up Last of Us here. We'll bring this up in a second here, guys. So Aaron shared this with us, said The Last of Us biggest Easter egg is its smallest shot. Hell of a time, both of the best friend. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so Dawn of the Wolf Part 2. It's a movie within the show. It's been mentioned a couple of times. Here it is here. Oh, check that out. It says Neil Druckmann, this is the creator of the video game, says, playing through the game its entirety for the first time since release. You know what? It's pretty good. And you can see the Dawn of the Wolf poster behind it. Here we go. When The Last of Us was in development at Naughty Dog back in the late 2000s, the biggest dumb teen movie in the world would have been the Twilight franchise. In the film series final installment, Breaking Dawn Part 2, opened in theaters in 2012, the year before Last of Us. Though the connection doesn't amount to much, the title a nod to vampire werewolf fever sweeping the nation. Okay, so he's playing it up. They're kind of playing it off like it was a knockoff of Twilight, which makes sense. I can see that. Yeah, Dawn. Yeah, see, there we are. The poster, it kind of looks like Bella and Edward and
Jacob,
whatever. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so there you go. And I thought that was the movie. Wasn't that the cheesy movie that Joel and his daughter were watching or wanted to watch?
I'm not
sure. We'll
sure.
have to look that up after. But yeah, so we'll just throw that back here, guys. There we are. So yeah, I like the little Easter eggs they throw in there. Aaron looked it up. Yeah, I can see if it was a real movie. So like I said, this entire episode was not from either of the games. It was a downloadable content called Left Behind. Whenever I think of Left Behind, I think of the books or the cheesy movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
Anybody ever see that? It was horrible. That was really one of the worst.
Kirk Cameron in one of them too?
He also did a version of that, which was really foolish.
Yeah. Well, Kirk Cameron, yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started on Kirk Cameron. So, So as I said, they set up all this in the earlier episodes to just bring it back into this episode, which was cool. So you had the pun book, which was, I can't remember the title of it. It's supposed to be funny, but so she gives Ellie the pun book in this at the end there. She talks a couple of times. Yes, I've handled guns before. And then when she's talking to Tess, she says, I had to put somebody out of their misery, right? Mm-hmm. Which is implied that it was Riley. Mortal Kombat, she shares with Joel, hey, I've played this game before. I love this game. And we get to see that. We go back here. We cover how she got bit, which was cool. And the fact that she tried booze before. It was, So Aaron, you are 100% correct. So my biggest problem with this episode was the fact that we are 2/3. So at the start of this episode, we've already gone through 2/3 of the entire season. And they decide that episode 7 is best served with a 60-minute flashback, which did not progress the story at all. I mean, I'm not a writer. I'm not a director. I'm not a showrunner, right? So,
well, I think what it's going to come down to is like the next episode's going to be, because when Joel gets hurt, he's months.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It takes him a long time.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be probably another one on his way to recovery.
Right.
And then the last episode will then be on the road again.
Right. Because for those who haven't played the video game, the kind of the ending or close to the ending, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but there's a lot of action that happens, a lot of violence. So we will see what ends up happening.
What's going to happen? They're going to leave it like on a
cliffhanger,
a Negan cliffhanger.
Oh,
like they did with Walking Dead.
I could see what, and this is exactly what I saw this too. So we have 2 episodes left. We have Sunday night and then next Sunday night. This Sunday is 50 some minutes, and the last episode's only 46 minutes. So I don't know. I just do not see how they're going to end up. I don't know. Chris Dixon says filler episode, but I guess they needed to drag out Joel being hurt and show how she got bit and who she killed. Here's my thoughts on that. I think what took 60 minutes to tell probably could have been cut down to 15.
Yes.
I would have been totally fine with Ellie panicking upstairs in the kitchen and go, and then a flashback, right?
Yeah.
And you get 15 minutes of that, and then we come back and we see, because in the video game, you spend a ton of time as Ellie out trying to find supplies, trying to find food, trying to shoot a deer. All of that is very interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep her shit together while Joel's on the mend, or because she goes out looking for antibiotics and she does find them eventually.
Well, that'll be next episode.
Yes. Yeah. Aaron says maybe Pedro had to go to Disney for his second job.
Mandalorian probably pays a lot more.
So true. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. He probably makes a lot more money on that one.
So another one of my thoughts I had written down, and I've shared this a couple times tonight, but like I said, I don't see how they're going to get the final story told in the 2 episodes, and that's fine. In here, Aaron, I know you're always listening for the music, but you can hear Aha's Take on Me again. It's kind of quiet and in the background.
Because that was in her Walkman.
Yes. Yep. And right, because it was on a tape. They showed Aha on one of the tapes, right? And it's that song plays a big part in video game number 2.
I should play the songs behind us when we're
doing this. I wish I could. Yeah, then we'd get a copyright strike through and through. Yeah,
I suppose you probably would.
Yeah. If we did this on, a non-YouTube platform, we probably could. But YouTube would be like, "Hey, sucker, the $1.50 you make in ad revenue from this video, yep, it's going to the estate of Aha." I don't know if they're dead or not. I'm just kidding. No idea. So the mall in there was the Northland Village Mall, which was scheduled to be tore down. I'm not sure if it has been yet, but they got permission to use it from there. And it was only a 1-story mall, so they had to make an optical illusion to make it look like 2. But I think, I don't know. I think the highlight of the entire episode was the mall. They did a great job with that. Chris says, I can't believe the Walkman lasted 20 plus years. I looked it up. That model is almost 40 years old if you want to feel old. You're right, Chris. So I watch a lot of videos on resurrecting old tech, and the big thing that goes in all tape decks are the rubber pinch wheels that pull the tape through and the belts inside, because that rubber just, evaporates after a way. It goes.
But I would have more faith in a Walkman than I would in a Discman.
Oh, yes, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, there's another one. Aaron says merry-go-round, when they were on the merry-go-round, was the Cure's Just Like Heaven. Took me forever to find that. And I think it was you, Aaron, that posted the soundtrack to The Last of Us. They put a playlist out on Apple Music and the different things, and it's got like 45 songs on it. So yeah, it'll be worth listening to. I was hoping they'd put it on vinyl, but I think it's going to be too big to do that. So
maybe a double.
Yeah. So here is what I loved. So the mall I loved, and I especially loved the arcade. I thought the arcade was just really cool. So the Neil Druckmann and the other co-showrunner, they wanted it to be a real arcade, or at least as real as they could. So they spent a shit ton of time online in some video game forums. They bought a bunch of actual classic video game arcade consoles from collectors, had them shipped in, hired two, this is the work these guys did, hired two experts from these video game forums, brought them in to set everything up and set up this entire fake arcade, which I thought was cool. Now, here's the thing. Anybody remember the old arcades? I don't know of anybody else. They always had a plastic cover over them, and you could see the CRT screen in there. Well, here's the thing. Those CRTs, do you remember when you were a kid and they'd show a picture of a CRT monitor on TV? Do you remember what it would do? I don't know if you do, but if anybody else does, somebody's hollering at me.
Be jumpy, right?
Yeah, jumpy, or it would be scanning, because the scan of it, they'd never matched up. Well, you can't really film CRT monitors today because they're going to do the same thing. So this is what they ended up doing. They tore the CRT monitors out of all of these video games and rebuilt them with LCD monitors. And then these guys one guy, when Ellie and them were playing video games, he was laying down behind the machine, turning on the video each time they would play. So the work they put into it was crazy. Dixon says Northland is being partially demolished and fully renovated. I heard that Chinook is slated for demolition in the next 10 years. It's crazy, the malls that were there and aren't anymore,
well,
right?
Malls are a dying breed.
Oh, yeah. They are.
Just the rent alone that some of those poor businesses have to pay, right?
Yes.
It's just ridiculous.
So Chris says resolution line scanning through the screen. You remember you'd see it in the background and it looked like it would be slowly scrolling or whatever, because they all had their certain phases, I guess. But so the actual footage of Mortal Kombat was projected on an LCD screen, like a normal one. So they turned it from widthways to up and down. I geek out on this stuff. I know, it's kind of cool. And then they had to add old scan lines to it. They had to squish the picture to make it look like it had rounded. So it was all done on an LCD screen, but they worked really hard to make it look like an authentic vintage video game, which I will pat them on the back for the hard work they put into it, absolutely. But they spent a ton of time and a ton of energy to recreate what they called an authentic 2002 or 2003 arcade. Although I have to say that even then, arcades were pretty rare. They existed in the malls, but they weren't around like they were in the 90s,
Oh, no, I remember the one mall in Sarnia had 2 arcades in it.
Yeah. And I love the arcades, but I mean, home video game consoles.
And how many does West Ed have?
Couple, three
or 4.
Yeah. None of them are great, but
the theater one is.
Well, it was until you beat them at their own game, and then they had to change. Yeah. So Miss Cook here has an addiction to claw games in arcades.
It's because I'm good at it.
You are good at it, and she went in there and they had this big claw machine that have these big cardboard circles that say 600 tokens or 500 or 1,000. And every time we'd go in there for 3 months, she would clean up on them. We would get their biggest prize, and then we would leave. And then after a while, the manager got to know us.
Yep.
And the next time we go in, the machine was completely changed. So there was no tension on the claw machine anymore. You ruined it for us, but we have a whole stack of board games we'll never play because you spent hundreds of dollars in the arcade and had a great time.
I didn't spend that much at that one, though.
Well, I know, but so I went to Rotten Tomatoes, and again, same as usual, it had one negative review.
Just one?
Yeah. The problem was it was in Spanish. So I couldn't read it to you guys. But I did go on IMDb because it was a whole big thing that they're like, hey, guess what? The score is really low. And I thought, well, let's see what people are saying. But this was, to me, a bit of a good capsule of what people were saying. This is from Camila something or other. I don't know. Anyway, said, do yourself a favor and skip forward until 5 minutes before the ending. This is like a soap opera show, boring as hell. If I wanted to see two teenage girls dancing around for 30 minutes, I would just go to my niece's homecoming. It felt like a telenovela, which is the Spanish soap operas my grandmother used to watch. The script was boring, predictable, and completely lacking excitement.
I agree with her.
Can I just be honest? The girls didn't have any chemistry either.
No.
They I don't know. Not like Bill and his man. You can say what you want, but those two were sweet.
I agree with her. It was awful. Like, it was boring. It was lackluster.
It's a shame we didn't have as much to talk about tonight because it was such a shitty show.
It was really
shitty.
My
God. Yeah. Aaron says super weird. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know.
Well, and you know what's funny though is that, I don't know if why can't I ever think
Bella?
of her? What is her? Yeah, Bella. I don't know if she actually is LGBT in real life. She kind of strikes me like she might be.
I don't know.
Because she has that.
She reminds me of Ellen Page when Ellen was younger.
No, she has the same vibe as the main actress from House of Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Because she's LGBT. I think
what do they call it? Androgynous or something? Kind of masculine or something? I don't know.
Well, she dresses the same way, acts the same way, carries herself the same way.
Okay.
But so I kind of get the vibe that she might actually be.
Okay.
But the problem is, it's funny because I don't know about the other girl. I don't know if she is or not. But then you watch episode 3, Nick Offerman isn't.
No,
and
that good point.
For the love,
you would think he
that
was.
episode was incredible.
Yep.
I don't even know if the other guy is.
I have no idea either. Yeah.
I don't even know. Nick Offerman is not gay. No, he's married, and there was so much chemistry between those two. It was incredible, and the story was wonderful, and the everything. But it just felt like this. That they were just forcing it down these kids' throats, well, this is what you have to do, but you could tell they were awkward. They didn't mesh with each other.
That's what I thought.
I don't know.
So Aaron asks, is it part of the game? It's actually part of something that kind of ticked off some fans a little bit because it wasn't. If it was there in game 1, I didn't notice it at all.
No,
I don't. Not at all, and it really wasn't. But what happened is 7 years later when the second game came out, they kind of rewrote history just a little bit, and it kind of it wasn't there. The Bill thing was a little bit there, but he was such a background character it didn't matter. And I don't necessarily care, just don't shoehorn an agenda into a story that maybe didn't need it at first, right? So
yeah, well, you knew Bill's character was,
yeah,
but to watch potentially 2 straight men play a gay couple and actually think they're actually a gay couple because they had so much chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
It was but like we were saying with Bella Ramsey, I think they're gonna realize that she can't carry any episodes. She even in Game of Thrones. She wasn't good in Game of Thrones.
No,
she wasn't. She was lippy, she was mouthy, she was loud, obnoxious, but she wasn't a good actress in Game of Thrones. I think they just hired her because she was young and British.
Yeah,
right.
And she was lippy, which she played the part well,
Yeah, but no, it wouldn't be something that you're oh man, that was the best episode. She's the greatest actress. No,
yeah, Aaron,
not at all.
You and Aaron get along great. Aaron says I didn't like her in Game of Thrones either, and Aaron also says it definitely feels like they're using it as a platform.
Well, with her in Game of Thrones, and I kind of felt bad for feeling it, but when she got picked up by the giant, I was I didn't feel bad.
Oh, she died, didn't she?
Yeah, he crushed her, right? Yeah. I didn't feel bad, but but it just, I don't know. She was annoying in Game of Thrones, and she's annoying in this show.
Yep.
Like even when it's on a good episode with Pedro and her and stuff, like just I don't know. Like I don't know. There's something about her. It's like her voice or how she carries herself or something like that. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I just don't like her. Like I've tried. But I have that thing for younger, like
I know,
but
I know,
yeah,
but
I just don't like.
okay.
But yeah, well, like the one who plays Rhaenyra in House of Dragons, she's not very old. She's incredible. Like she's an incredible actress.
Well, let's even go back to the first episode of this show. I honestly think the girl who played Joel's daughter would have made a better Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people would have got pissed because, she was a girl of color or whatever. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
What does it matter?
She's I thought she was a way better actress than
Bella. Better actress. Yeah.
Way better. So, there, look, she just said they should have switched the actresses who played Joel's daughter. Mm-hmm. I agree. I think she was a much better actress. I think I looked her up. I think she's the same age as Bella,
Yeah,
so,
and she way better actress.
Yeah.
Way better. But again, we didn't watch her long.
I know, that's true. We got 2
actually,
episodes.
I'd say
1 episode with her, right? So,
yeah, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but
she does come from good acting stock too, because her was it Thandie Newton?
Thandie Newton.
Yeah. So, and she's a good actress. I like her.
Yeah, but I really do wish that I don't know, maybe they'll flop it around where Ellie's one that gets killed.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I don't know. Like they could have did so much better with the actress pick on her, I think.
I agree.
Like I think honestly, if they go the same route as the video game with Joel, that show it's gonna be shit.
Yeah. No, I agree. And
I probably won't watch it.
Yeah. But this has been enjoyable so far. And it was still a good episode.
But I couldn't imagine watching an entire season.
No, I wouldn't watch
with her as the main character.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't.
I wouldn't watch it.
Maybe they'll age her up and replace her. No, that's
she's already confirmed. She's.
I know. Well, you know what? Let's move on to something a little more entertaining. How about this? Since we have time, let's hang on here. Let's bring this up. So somehow we ended up getting in the Telegram group. This movie became something that everybody was quite excited to see. But Cocaine Bear, the absolute craziest movie ever about a bear who finds a great big bag of cocaine in the woods in Tennessee, grossed almost $36 million.
I think Carrie Russell's in that movie.
She is, and she's showing her age, poor lady, which is fine. Wow. She just, I don't know. I always enjoyed Carrie Russell. She was good in that The American Show. I enjoyed that, but I know you didn't watch a lot of that. But yeah, so Cocaine Bear has done really, really well in the box office.
I don't want to be that guy, but do you think maybe that has a lot to do with Ray Liotta's death as well?
I don't think so.
Because this was his last movie, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder if that has a lot to do with it.
Is it Elizabeth Banks that's the director?
Yeah, I don't like Elizabeth Banks.
No, I don't either, but I don't know. It's done quite well for itself.
Oh, no, and I get it, but I wonder if that, if people, if you're a fan of Ray Liotta, right? Like, everybody our age loved him, right?
Maybe, but they haven't even played up the fact that he's big in the trailer too much, you know? It's just...
Yeah, but everybody knows.
Here's what it is. It's an absolute asinine topic, which is great, loosely based on a true story. It takes place in the woods in Tennessee, and apparently it is absolutely gory as all get out. So I don't know. It looks good. I'm excited. I
don't think I'll pay to go see it.
Yeah, I would rent it at home and watch it.
Well, I was going to say, I'd watch it at home, but I don't think I'd actually go to a theater.
I think it would make a good workshop watch party we can all watch.
I think Mackenzie went and seen it.
He did, yeah. Mackenzie went out on a date the other night with a girl and watched it. So I thought I would, let's see if we can, I don't know how, give me a sec here, guys, and I'm going to bring up some of the latest movies that are coming up right quick. We'll share a few of those since we have a few more minutes here and see what we get going on. Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, the episode sucks so bad we couldn't even get a full hour.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, you know what? We had time. Let's go through it. But we got Scream 4 coming up March 10th. Oh, no, sorry, Scream 6. Jesus, yeah, it's not Scream 4.
It's getting a little overplayed.
I liked the last one. I thought the last one was good. I'm sure this one will not be because...
Well, this one's supposed to be really gory, I guess.
Yeah. No, what's her face in it anymore? Nev Campbell's not in it.
No.
Aaron says Cocaine Bear sounds interesting. It's been an ongoing... I forget who... I want to say it was Renegade Butcher who originally brought up the trailer, I think. I don't know how it came up, but it's been one we've all been following. What else we got coming up soon? Shazam, Fury of Gods.
There is not a lot coming out.
Well, this used to always be the dumping ground of the year. You know what I mean? The Origin, I don't even know that. Wildflower. Oh, there we go.
John Wick.
There we go.
That's exciting.
John Wick 4, where John Wick has nunchucks.
I don't care what he has. Those movies are awesome. I love John Wick.
Who's Dylan Minette? Do you know him? I don't know. Aaron says, haven't seen any of the Screams after the first one, but I do like Dylan Minette. We'll have to look him up after. But yes, I'm very excited about John Wick 4.
I think Barrett's excited about it.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah. How can you not?
I love Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and he's just such a nice, well, not like I've ever met the dude, but
no, but
they
like
say
he's
so
a
nice
good
guy
in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he's so the guy can't act for anything, right? Like he can't, but he does so good in the John Wick movies. So they're just for him, and he kind of has like that whole. I'm getting that vibe from him about Liam Neeson.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
like where they just kind of they just kind of have like those.
They're gonna keep making the same movies over and over.
And you know what? If he's good at it and they can keep doing them, have at it, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing. The John Wick movies are infinitely more entertaining than Taken 1 through 3. Mm-hmm. You know, they're okay, but I mean, you can only watch a 70-year-old man jump over a chain link fence with 17 cuts in the, boom, boom, boom. Like, it makes me seasick watching the editing of the episode.
Do you remember the one we went and seen in the theater with Matt and Tracy?
It was Taken 2.
Taken 2. And you remember the fight scene?
Yes.
And it was choreographed. But it was slow motion, Liam Neeson. Like honestly, you could have punched that guy 15 times before Liam Neeson threw his punch.
Absolutely, it was
the slowest.
And you remember when we left,
Matt was like, "That was the best
movie I've ever seen," and we're like, "It was complete bullshit." But anyway,
the fight scene was incredible because they're like, you're watching two geriatric patients fight, right? Like they were slow, and it was so slow. And you're like, that is the slowest fight I have ever seen.
This one right here, Beau is Afraid. We saw a trailer for that. It's Joaquin Phoenix where he plays all the different parts of life.
Yes.
It's like a fever dream. It actually looks...
It looked interesting until they had the cartoon characters.
True. Yeah.
Well, and then it was kind of like...
Now see, that's what took me into it. I was like, oh shit, this is would be like some kind of friggin' mushroom dream or something.
Is this
animated?
Animated?
Yeah, it's the one with Chris
Pratt. There's a lot of crap about that.
Oh, yeah, because he's not Italian. What the fuck?
Chris Pratt has been rubbing people a lot.
Yeah, whatever. He's funny. This one, Air, I think this is going to be a sleeper hit. I'm going to make my predictions. It's got Ben Affleck in it, and it tells the story of Nike from the 80s and how they recruited Michael Jordan. But looks like it'll be awards contender. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm going to say it. I don't like Michael Jordan.
That's fine. Yeah,
never have.
But I certainly like Ben Affleck.
I do, but actually, you know what? Since he's
with J-Lo,
he's like his career's tanked.
I know. Yeah.
So
we'll see. The Super Mario Brothers. It would be nice to see them make a good movie out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure our little nephew Noah will like that because he loved the Sonic
he loves
one.
Mario.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know what else. There's not.
Renfield.
Oh, did I go by that? Mm-hmm. Oh, they don't even have a picture for it.
That's the one with Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage plays Dracula. Enough said. How much more? Yeah, that's going to be fucking awesome. You know it will be.
Nicolas Cage. Oh, he's funny.
Yeah, he really is. Other people's children.
I don't know. There's any of these.
There's nothing else.
There
we go. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's got James Gunn back at the helm after Disney canceled him for 5 minutes and realized that canceling means nothing. This is the last one.
Batista's last one?
Yeah, it's the last one for all of them, I think.
Okay.
So they're going to kill them all at the end. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
they're not.
And then here's 2 top quality films back to back. And I'm sorry.
No.
I know. I do not like the Fast and Furious movies.
Mm-mm.
If Barrett, my brother-in-law, is watching, I know he loves them. I just cannot stand them.
See,
so
what's
bad.
They're so overplayed, and that's what they're doing with Scream.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They're just gonna keep beating this poor dead horse.
So they're making one more. They're going to make Fast 11. So
are
they are
real?
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
it.
God.
So
it's because the only thing Vin Diesel can do because he can't act for nothing.
So this is called Fast X, which is Fast 10,
like Jason X.
Somebody said they should have called it Fast 10 Your Seatbelts. Fasten your seatbelts. I'm sorry, that was bad, but that was.
I think
good.
Vin Diesel needs to retire.
Another live action Disney remake that's going to suck.
No interest.
Yep. Halle Berry, The Little Mermaid. Nope. Keep on scrolling. The Boogeyman.
Spider-Man.
There we go. Adaptation of the Stephen King's The Boogeyman, but it's PG-13, so probably not great.
That's the Miles Morales one.
Yeah. Oh, this is Across the Spider-Verse. I love that. Remember, Becky and I snuck into that at the theater one day. we got there really early and we're like, hey, let's just go watch another movie for free. It was like we were teenagers again. Remember, that was fun. This one looks good. This is an R-rated comedy with Will Ferrell playing the part of Reggie the dog.
Okay.
It's like a very a hard R. It sounds like something Seth Rogen would have wrote, right? So it could be good. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
The Flash.
The Flash.
You know what? I am actually really excited about that because it's Ezra Miller.
Yeah, he's a great Flash. I know he's a shit person.
Well, he's a shit person, and he's done a lot of rotten things, but he is so incredible.
He is a good Flash. Yeah,
he really is.
The trailer looks good. The early reactions to people who have watched like early cuts of the movie, they've said it's going to be incredible. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm excited about the Flash.
Wow, is that Furiosa? Is that it? I didn't think that. So that I think is the Mad Max sequel that plays a young version of Charlize Theron's character.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was going to be made.
Oh, Indiana Jones! Oh boy,
gonna say it.
Watching it, Liam Neeson.
Yes, I hate
Harrison Ford.
No, I don't mind Harrison Ford, but I hate Indiana Jones. Finally, the Barbie movie's coming out. Seems like they've been talking about that for 10 years.
Got no interest in that one either.
No, I know. This year, Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's latest movie. I think Christopher Nolan's one of them guys that's finally believing his own hype now, and I just
pulling a James Cameron.
I went and watched that movie when you were in the hospital a couple years ago, and we were up in Lloyd.
Oh, Tenet,
yeah. Oh boy, I didn't like it. Aaron says apparently I only go to the movies for kids' movies. I'm kind of glad that we're past having to go watch little kids.
You know what though?
Now.
The twins. They wouldn't watch any of these kid movies.
No, they liked a lot of the.
They like horror movies.
Oh, I didn't know. Look at that, Blue Beetle. So I'm sure lots of you are like, "What the fuck's Tim?" Anyway, he's a lesser known DC superhero that I didn't realize.
Who's playing him?
I don't know if it. I don't know. Let's see. I think I read it somewhere. If it'll come up, no score yet. I don't know. So Adriana Barraza. I don't know. No, we'll have to. Yeah, so it looks. I don't know. I like Blue Beetle. He was in a lot of the latest. Or remember the Justice League cartoons we used to watch? He was in that a lot.
The Nun too. Oh, the first one was ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't want none of it. So, Aaron says last one we saw was Puss in Boots, but they do love Avatar.
I haven't watched any of Avatar.
Puss in Boots was bad, Aaron, because I don't know. It didn't look very good to me. So. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Yeah. How are they still?
That's ridiculous.
The Nun 2. No idea. Oh, there's the second part of
Never even seen the first one.
They said it was good.
Marvel's no interest.
Whenever you open with will feature Brie Larson, you're like, oh sorry.
Brie Larson.
No. She has about the acting range of a boulder. And she looks like she hates everyone. I just can't help it. How the hell are they making another Hunger Games?
It's a prequel.
Okay. Willy Wonka. They're remaking The Color Purple, a musical adaptation. And Christmas Day Aquaman. And have you heard the latest rumors about it?
I know.
It's so bad that they don't know what they're going to do with it. It's so bad that Jason Momoa is leaving the franchise and that they're reshooting a bunch of scenes because they're not sure what they're going to do with it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what, though? The first Aquaman was really good.
Yep.
The second one wasn't very good. Like the CGI on it and the effects, it was actually not very good.
This might be The Equalizer. Remember the one with Denzel? Yeah, this is the third one. So Aaron says a new Hunger Games. So you said it's a prequel, Mother?
I believe it's a prequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what Craven the Hunter is, but
bring it up. I think.
Oh, which one?
No, the Hunger Games. I think it's
the Ballad of Songbirds.
Yeah, 18-year-old Snow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the character that Donald Sutherland plays is Snow.
Okay.
So it's like
it's not based on any books, then, is it?
No, okay. So it's like a prequel.
Okay.
To where he's 18 years old, right? Because in the other one, in the new one, he's like in his 60s or 70s or whatever. Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Yeah. I think Donald Sutherland's actually been dead for about 20 years. It's just a reanimated corpse that they prop up in front of.
Bring up this Color Purple. Who's in this one?
I don't know.
I'm sure I'll be extremely.
I love Color Purple.
I'll be extremely disappointed with this one. I know.
And I don't know. This may actually just be a recording of a stage play because it's a musical. They're doing it as a musical. So musical.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen The Color Purple, it's really good with Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey. It's an incredible movie.
Yeah, Aaron says The Hunger Games probably something we could do without.
Absolutely. So
here it is. This the easiest way to wrap that up is. Do you remember the final couple seasons of Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Do you remember how bad it sucked because it didn't have any source material to go off of?
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you take an existing source material and say, hey, Hollywood screenwriters, put together a script for us. And this is what you get. So, hey, a new Star Trek film. Didn't know that. Tiger's Apprentice. What? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Madam Web. That's Spider-Man.
Quiet Place. I'm waiting for that one.
Oh, yeah. This one's a Spider-Man spinoff that has Dakota Johnson starring in it. Yeah.
No interest.
Quiet Place.
I don't like Dakota Johnson.
Day one. I'm excited about this one.
Bring that up?
Yeah. That's only less than a year away. It's a prequel that tells the story of how it started again, which is kind of cool. So,
well, that's okay. I'll take it.
They're
I like
great.
The Quiet Place.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I was going to say Captain America. Is that with...
I think so. Yeah.
Is it Anthony?
Anthony Mackie or Mackie or whatever. Yeah.
Mackie.
Anthony Mackie.
No interest.
No, he hasn't been very good.
No, what was the one above the Spider-Man? Is that the one with Tom Holland?
I think this is another animated one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse. Pretty sure. New Garfield.
No interest.
This one's If. That would be a sequel to It. No, not really.
They are doing a prequel to It.
Are they? Oh, yeah. It's going to be an HBO TV series.
And it's got Skarsgård playing him.
Right. So. Just what the world needs. Another Karate Kid film, I think.
Just another Mission Impossible. Nope.
But
another Transformers.
I have
Please tell me Mark Wahlberg's not in that one too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Twisters.
Oh, here we go. What is this? Where did it go here? Transformers Rise of the Beast will take audiences on a 90s adventure and introduce the Maximals, Predacons, Terracons.
It's got Pete Davidson.
Oh, so he's
it's got Peter Dinklage.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would,
and he's not in it for
Ron
very long.
Perlman. No, I would say Peter Dinklage has a really short part in it.
Probably.
You get it?
Yes.
And Nate. Oh, hey, Nate. He says, I'm only here to say, fuck Will Ferrell.
I don't like Will Ferrell either.
Neither do I, but I do love Step Brothers.
That's the only movie. And that's a lot to do with John C. Reilly. So they do have good chemistry, though.
Yeah, they do. But, in case anybody wants to know, they're making a long-gestated sequel to Twister called Twisters
from 1996.
Yes, this is not about the video game, or not about the board game. It's not about Twizzlers or anything like that. It's a new Blade movie.
No thanks.
Deadpool 3. Gladiator 2. Yeah, I know.
How are they going to sequel that?
I don't know. Avatar 13.
He died at the end of Gladiator.
Yeah.
And how are they going to sequel it? Like when
what I understand,
Gladiator from early 2000s?
2000, I believe. Yeah.
How are they going to sequel that?
I don't know. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty.
Is that the one with? Is this one with John Krasinski?
I believe so. Yeah. Nate says, "Yeah, Maximus is dead, and it ain't going to be the same." Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see if this is. Doesn't even, they don't, I mean, we're out 2.5 years now. So
yeah, because if this is,
2025.
because John Krasinski was really good in that Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And this actually is supposed to be really good. The Kang Dynasty.
Okay. New Avengers. And then, of course, the Batman Part 2, which.
Is that Ben Affleck?
No,
or
that's Robert Pattinson. Yeah, that's emo Batman.
I think they're up for, I think he's up for an Oscar.
Really?
I'm pretty sure
I never heard that.
Yeah, bring it up. I'm pretty sure
right.
he was in the Oscar noms for that.
No, they actually didn't know they released it. That shows you something. Oh yeah, just hang on. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. Variety folder.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
Interesting.
I know. I might have been crazy.
You might be right. So let's scroll down till we can find. There we go. So Best Picture, All Quiet on the Western Front, which we haven't watched yet, but I think that's a foreign language. I think that might be in German. Supposed to be good. Avatar. Okay. Do not love Avatar at all.
No.
But it's cool to see a big budget film nominated for Film of the Year. Elvis? Oh.
You know what? I watched Elvis.
Yeah, you didn't like it, did you?
No, I did.
You did?
It was really good. And the guy who played Elvis was great. Incredible.
Could you imagine Hollywood, they will lose their collective shit if Top Gun Maverick wins Movie of the Year. And I will rejoice just simply because it'll just burn the whole establishment down, right? So, yeah. So let's see. Best Director. So it sounds like this Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is the Oscar darling this year. So,
okay. Austin Butler. That's who plays Elvis.
Austin Butler plays Elvis. Interesting.
Oh, who's going to Brendan Fraser will win it because
everybody loves the fact that he gained all that weight and then lost it, right?
And that's fine, but like,
I didn't know Anna de Armas could actually act. But anyway, Cate Blanchett, it's basically like, what's she in this year? Let's nominate her again for another act. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen the Batman up there.
Brendan Gleeson. I love that guy. He is such a great Irish actor. But he's up for supporting actor. I didn't see. He wasn't there, baby. I don't think.
It was nominated for something.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw the poster.
Jamie Lee Curtis is nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Screenplay.
Yeah, maybe I was crazy.
Well, let's see. Anything else here? Cinematography. Let's just do this. Best visual effects.
There we go. Yeah, I knew I seen the poster somewhere.
Best makeup and hairstyling. The Batman. Best sound, the Batman. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it got 3 of the lesser known, So
I love Brendan Fraser. I really do. But it kind of reminds me of when you're in school and try not to be too mean about it or anything, but when you're in school and you get like that one handicapped kid, right? And they nominate them for all the school awards. Just so they can see the kid run up the aisle and high five everybody, right?
If anybody wants to send any hate mail, send it to Becky. No, I'm just kidding. I know.
But you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I love Brendan Fraser, I do, but I think he's riding this
he is.
A little too hard, right? Like,
and he also, he's going to win because he also has the story, kind of like Robert Downey Jr. coming back from adversity, right? So
yeah, but he's the little handicapped kid running down the aisle, high fiving everyone because he wins every award. That's what I kind of get. Like, I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm really not.
I know. I'm just
but it reminds me because they did it at my school.
Yes,
there was this little boy. His name was Jeffrey Sharp. And I'm not sure if he had he didn't have Down syndrome. I don't know what he was, but every assembly he would win like 4 or 5 awards.
Right.
But the kid never did anything.
No, they just did it because they felt sorry for him. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then he would run up and down the aisle high-fiving everybody, which was really cute. It was, but
that's kind of what you
every
feel like.
Month, right? It's like, and I get it. That's what I kind of feel like with Brendan Fraser, that he's just riding this train a little too long, and I don't want to be mean.
Aaron says, "Are we best friends, Becky?"
Right? And you don't want to be mean about it, right?
I understand,
but it is true. Like, and you just get to the point you're like I remember sitting in there in grade 7. I'm like, how did he win again? What did he do? You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
And of course, everybody would like be screaming and cheering, and it was just like, he didn't do anything. Like
nothing.
I want that award,
So if anybody wants to see, here, let me bring.
And of course, this movie is about
What? What's the story?
Well, he plays a gay guy who loses his partner.
Really?
Or something, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know this. I haven't watched. I think it's...
So here's the thing, guys. If you want to know who's going to win an Oscar, all you need to look at is the fact that here's the deal. Yeah. Okay. Oh,
no, I do love Brendan Fraser. I do, but
this is what you need in order to win an Oscar. Yeah. Number one, you need money behind you. But number two, you need to have a story of overcoming. And number three, you need to slum it. So guys like, you remember Dustin Hoffman when he played the Rain Man? Mm-hmm. You know, you have to, if you are willing to either act handicapped, act obese, act oppressed, whatever it is, the more
gay obese.
Yes. Oh, there. So he checks two of the three diversity check boxes, right? He's not a person of color. He is a white male, so they may, they have to give it to a guy because it's unfortunately,
Yeah.
But I would put $50 on the fact that he'll win, and I've never watched the movie.
But the thing is, though, he's gonna win because he's riding that other train.
Which one? The pity party?
Oh, high five and everybody is running down the aisle,
true, right? So,
and like in any of the movies with Brendan Fraser, though, it's like I liked him in Blast from the Past.
Oh yeah,
and I liked him in the first Mummy.
Right,
but he kind of has like that.
Yeah, he was ripped in the Mummy.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Yeah. He kind of has like that Bruce Campbell persona.
Yeah,
where like he's not really that good of an actor, but just good enough to be in the movie. You know what I mean? Like because he always had that really goofy look, and he's got those weird eyes, and he's just always got that weird like look to him, right? And it's just like.
You mean this look here?
Exactly. Right? Like how like and honestly I'm
okay. Sorry.
Right?
For those of you who are on audio, I brought up a picture of Brendan Fraser who looks like he was hit in the face with a 2x4 and a deer in the headlights. That's all. It's from Blast.
I never really thought he was that good looking. Like I never thought he was good looking at all. Like I always like he just that plain Jane boy next door look, but he was never like he's no Brad Pitt.
No.
Right?
No.
And he can't act like Brad Pitt.
No.
Right?
But he was good. He had that just that kind of goofy charm, right?
But that's the thing though. He had his time in the 90s.
Sure.
And like I know some really shitty things happened to him, and I totally get that, and I don't.
Didn't his wife left him or something?
Wife left him, and I think there was like some sort of sexual assault or sex.
Oh yeah.
And I know a lot of shitty things happened to the guy. I really do, and I really feel bad for him. But like, do you really want your career comeback to be based on people feeling sorry for you? You know what I mean? Like
you look at where he wasn't he in Airheads as well?
I think so.
Yeah. I haven't watched that in years.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't want my career to come back just because people felt sorry for me.
He looked pretty good with that grunge long hair in Airheads from 1994.
I don't think he's good looking at all.
But he was okay in that. Let's see what I don't remember. Crash. Is that the one that won for best?
I have no idea.
There was two movies. Yeah, The Mummy Returns. So we're looking at his favorite With Honors. The only reason I remember With Honors is it had a killer Madonna song on there. That was it. I never seen the movie, but I remember the song. Aaron says, "What was the movie that he was in with the curly-haired actor Encino Man? Is that Pauly Shore?"
Pauly Shore.
Yeah. Was he in it? Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the caveman.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Blast from the Past. I always had a big crush on Alicia Silverstone. I know. I can't help it.
She looks like she hit every ugly branch on the way down.
It was because of the Aerosmith videos. You know that, right? So. School Ties, never saw that. Bedazzled, that was horrible. That had, anyway.
That's what I mean, right? Like
Encino Man, there he is.
Yeah,
he was a baby.
He always has that look.
That was it. Airheads. Oh, Airheads. Yeah, Airheads was good. God's Monsters. Yeah. The Mummy, and let me guess, they're going to put The Whale as number one, of course. Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's a Darren Aronofsky. He's the one that did Mother. Remember that one with Jennifer Lawrence? Yeah, Pauly Shore. Oh my God. Yes, well, let's bring that up right quick because There's something about Encino. Did you ever watch Encino Man?
Oh yeah.
I've never seen it, but was it not
It's
any
not
good?
No. With listening to Pauly Shore do his stupid little buddy noises.
I can't be the only one that hated Pauly Shore, right?
Stand him or clucking like a squirrel or whatever he does. I don't know what he does.
I don't know. Yeah, he never did. Yeah, I never thought he was funny at all.
No, he's not funny. He kind of reminds me of Chris Rock and all that, like just loud.
At least Chris Rock was a little bit talented.
No, he's not. He's just loud.
Well, I suppose, but Kids in the Hall. He was in. Brendan Fraser was in Kids in the Hall. Placebo Patient. Airheads. There it is. Son-in-law. Oh my God. Yeah. So I just was not. There it is, right there. So apparently,
he plays Link.
So this is an interest. I've never seen the movie, but it was in here. But when they released it in Europe, they called it California Man because they figured nobody would know where Encino, California was in the rest of the world. So,
he's only called Encino Man because they dig him up and he was like frozen,
right?
And he's a caveman.
Oh boy,
yeah, and then of course, being around Pauly Shore, he starts picking up on Pauly Shore's mannerisms and talking, and so it's really
poor
ridiculous.
Guy. I really hated Pauly Shore. Mm-hmm. If you ever want to look up an interesting story, though, look up where he grew up. His mother ran the biggest comedy club in LA.
Wouldn't let him perform there because he wasn't funny.
There's a lot of
she would not let him perform there,
and I just don't think he's that funny.
He's not funny.
And he tried to have that little comeback in the early 2000s where he did that film Pauly Shore is Dead, which I don't know if you saw it, but
I never watched
it was like a hyper realized version of himself or something.
Because he's full of himself and he thinks that he's important enough that people care.
Mm-hmm. But we're still talking about him 30 years later, so I guess
just because we're talking about Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I think Sean Austin's in that one too.
Yeah, man.
No, I had a crush on Sean Austin.
Really? That's funny.
Yeah.
Look at that. That just screams early 90s, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
So, well, Mrs. Cook, what do you think? You want to call it an evening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
I'm tired.
So for those who are out there listening, there'll be no live stream tomorrow evening. I got a Ramblings on the Road recording that'll be playing for you. That'll come out at 7:00 tomorrow night, so it doesn't crowd up your podcast feed too much. We got 2 more episodes of The Last of Us to do, you and I together. And then you're flying on a jet plane to England.
I am,
which
on the
is
19th.
Great, which is cool. So we, I wouldn't let you leave until we got our last episode of Last of Us in, right?
Yeah.
So. But guys, thank you. This was fun. Always enjoy this. This is kind of a chill. You're a trooper, Mrs. Cook, for coming down and doing this with me, because you guys don't know how hard she works all week. I just sit around and do nothing, and she relaxes and works.
Well, Aaron and I are best friends now. So
that's
I gotta
true.
Come talk to her on Fridays.
Bring Aaron in. You guys can co-host the next one. I'll fuck off.
Yeah.
It'll be great. So
I don't know. We might get ourselves in trouble.
I'll be like, hon.
Next thing you know, he's banned from YouTube.
Why do I have a community guideline strike? I don't understand. So Aaron says, hope for a better episode of The Last of Us next week. I agree. I think it will be. I can't.
They got to redeem themselves somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's what it was. So,
yeah.
All right, folks. Take care. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week. Aaron says we appreciate it.